the Epstein stuff. There's a bunch of things that don't feel right about the way that this is being given to us. I remember talking about it for years and listening more than I was talking about it on my old videos, like in 2016, 17 or whatever. I was watching about Jeffrey Epstein. I remember when nobody was talking about him because some bitch on ABC News had not yet said, "Oh, look, did you hear about this? She broke the story." Bullshit. The whole damn internet was talking about this for years with this guy. And with Epstein and the Epstein Island and all this stuff. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff that comes to mind because it was like, you know, my free time for years of my life. Like when I was looking into the news, I remember that it was 20, this is the news to me, you know, like the news that I was interested in, that they found out that they were spending $28 million to destroy Jeffrey Epstein's basement. And that's before some bitch on ABC News ever said anything about the guy. "Oh, do you hear about the reporter who broke the story?" And it was bullshit. The internet was talking about this guy for years before there was BitChute to like go over on BitChute and talk about this kind of thing. So before that existed, he was being talked about. And then there was all the Pizzagate stuff. And then I remember at a time when you weren't even supposed to talk about it, and you'd get censored and stuff. And there was crazy stuff about the Pizzagate. And I remember people like being shocked that Bob's body language, who then became Body Language Ghost, was like basically defending Alphonsus. And he just said, "Well, I'm looking at the guy's body language, and he's a gay guy, but he didn't do any of this shit." And I'm like, "What are you talking about, you dummy?" I remember Jay Dyer saying, "Oh, James Alefantis didn't do anything." I'm like, the guy's surname isn't a real surname. His Alefantis means "I love children" in French, and it isn't a surname. There's no surname called Alphonsus. And I saw the pictures of the inside of the pizza shop, and it had children. It was like in juxtaposed brute art style. And it was ugly. I'm like, this is the inside of a pizza shop? This is disgusting. And you could see people inside the pizza shop eating pizza, and the murals on the walls were like children holding platters with people's cut off heads and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is this shit? Alphonsus, "I love children," it's not a surname. So anyway, "I love children's" Twitter handle was the god Antinous. Go look up Greek god Antinous and see who that is. They have statues of the guy. Look at what Antinous is the Greek god of. It's kiddling. Spoiler alert. Sorry. It's about, he's the Greek god of sexually abusing children. And that's Alphonsus's Twitter handle. And one of the and all this crazy stuff. And I remember Owen Benjamin losing his mind, just talking about this shit and going crazy. And he's like, "What about this? What about that?" And people said that he was nuts and he was losing his mind. I made fun of him. I had like a video of Owen Benjamin throwing beer cans at his dog, and I was making fun of it. And he was like going off the rails, but he wasn't lying. Like all that shit was true. And there's so many things. Like I have external hard drives to go through. And it's all, I just would title news. And then it's all this stuff. There's all this Epstein stuff that's old. So I'm debating myself, conflicted. Do I really want to go through this shit? Because it's disturbing. Years ago, this stuff was disturbing. The Pizzagate stuff was disturbing. The Podesta things. The underground passages connecting places in the blocks, and it's by school. And the Besta Pizza shit. Do you remember Pod Awful and Besta Pizza, where he went there and there was like he went to the place with somebody, and then they were running out of the place. There was like 5 14-year-olds and a guy, and they were like literally running away from him. He went inside the place and they ran out of the place and they ran away from him. And also, I remember, just this is a side thing that was funny, like this has been in my life for years, like maybe not the thing I talked about all the time, but I had a lot of Jeffrey Epstein thumbnails and his weird shaped penis and Virginia's testimony, and then surprise, surprise, Virginia shuffled herself off this mortal coil, and she was the one that was fooling around with Prince Andrew, and it was all the Prince Andrew stuff, and then he went and had pizza, took his daughter for pizza, like on purpose. And as soon as all this shit came out about Pizzagate and Prince Andrew and Epstein Island, the Queen retired Prince Andrew from public life, and he was just she retired him. Do you remember this? I know we have King Charles now, okay, but I remember when Queen Bessie was still alive, and all this shit came out, and she's like, Andrew, you're retired from public life, and he's like, I'm retired from public life. And I remember Alphonsus, one of his other businesses, because people weren't looking into him, and he had a cafe called Terrazol. Terrazol is a French, again French, it's the only thing that it is a French yeast infection cream, but if you read the words Terrazol, it's tear asshole. You get it? He had a cafe named Tear Asshole. That's funny. Terrazol. And again, it's not a real thing. Like, his surname's not a real surname. And I remember people saying, oh, that guy, don't worry about him, it's not true. And then I think he moved to London, and then Abramovic moved to London, and then there was all this stuff with Abramovic, and that was when she came on. This is years ago, like what, 2017 or 2016 maybe even. But I remember being interested in this. Like, this was my type of news years ago. Did I say that spending $28 million, we're watching Epstein Island burning, and they were spending like $28 million to burn his basement because it was like an abattoir in Playground or whatever, like Discovery Zone, where they murdered children and drink the blood. And there was all these disturbing pictures and stuff of like kids shitting in buckets and all this awful stuff. And I also do remember there was a lot of bullshit. There was like people claiming that they saw certain things, and then it was like, you didn't see it, they're lying, they just wanted to get attention and they didn't deliver. I remember all that stuff. Like, the guy's name was J.D. Stoner or something, and the guy was a total bullshit. I can't remember the guy's name anymore. But I remember all this from years ago, and when I see what's happening now with this, it's bullshit. Like, yeah, I know everybody's talking about all Epstein everything, and I haven't really saying anything about it. I did Macaulay Culkin pizza video, and I'm not in it. I was like, I'm just gonna show you a bunch of stuff about Macaulay Culkin that I've been, if you go even on Rumble, you can see I've been peppering weird stuff about Macaulay Culkin for years. The whole Bunny Ears podcast stuff, and the theme song is really strange to his. And if you buy a t-shirt from Macaulay Culkin's Bunny Ears, it's got a rabbit's head in an upside down pentagram made out of blood, and all this weird shit that he was doing, and all this, his obsession with pizza. He was even doing pizza paintings, and then he did pizza, all this shit. And then there was the Q meme, which QAnon doesn't mean anything. It's like that was intentionally to lead people straight. Oh, what, they're talking about all this stuff? Okay, we'll lead them over here into some QAnon sense. It's bullshit. And all the anonymous and all, it's all, you know what I mean? Like, whatever was real, they take it and they co-opt it. That's what's happening now. In my opinion, like, what I'm hearing now with all this Epstein files and the releasing and stuff, it's completely controlled. Oh, there's another thing that I don't like. I saw a clip on, like, I don't know, like Too Lazy to Try or Podcast Cringe, one of these guys, because that's how I get my doses of Joe Rogan. And he was talking about, oh, well, I got it. There's this girl I want to get on my show, and she's the one that knows all the Epstein stuff. I want to get her on here. And I'm like, bullshit. I've been listening to this stuff for years, and I never heard of that bitch. And that's a lie. She just shows up from out of nowhere, and now she's the expert on Epstein stuff, because Joe Rogan says she's an Epstein expert. And then they showed a clip of her in the video, and they're like, actually, she's really good. And I'm like, no, this is like some of this, like, controlled, like, this is who they want. Oh, you know who discovered all the Epstein stuff? A woman. It's the same bullshit they did years ago with the ABC News. I'm trying to remember old channels, I can't think of them, but old channels that were talking about this stuff, videos that I watched that aren't even like big channels now or anything. I don't know, Truth Stream Media, they always had cool stuff. It was like Melissa and Doug, remember them? Do they still do anything anymore? I don't even watch them, I don't know. But And there was other channels. It was like a guy and his kids would do these videos, and they would talk about all this Pizzagate shit. And then there was Linda McAllister, the deplorable McAllister and everything, and she used to like make graphics and stuff for TV. And then she started doing QAnon stuff, and a lot of her stuff was interesting. Even though the QAnon stuff, I don't like it if that isn't clear. But what they're doing now, of how things are being released, it's on purpose. It's completely controlled. Like whatever's happening now, like first Elon says Trump doesn't want to release the files, and then they release the files, and you find out that Elon Musk was like dying to go to the island, and he's not talking about it. And there's been for years pictures with Trump and Epstein, and that they're buddies. And if you look at a young Trump, he's obviously a creepy weirdo. Look at him. Like, if they talk about a pedo face, like Trump, you know what I mean? When I heard about Trump was on the bed with Russian whores and they were pissing on the bed and jumping up and down, I was like, that's obviously true. I believed it 100%. This sounds exactly like the kind of thing Trump would do. It's probably true. And they're pissing on money or whatever they were doing. It's probably all true. So, but the stuff that's happening now, this is on purpose. I remember years ago, people saying, well, if you want to see when some shit's really going to go down, and they'll try and like collapse everything all at once, it's when all this stuff comes out. It's all coming out. And there's like, well, why would these names be redacted and it's not the names of victims? Because that's how the world's run. It's like, did you ever see the old Godfather movies that people forgot about? It's what the Sopranos are predicated on. Like, you like the Sopranos? I don't watch. I don't give a shit about that. Well, there was 2 Godfather movies, and in the Godfather movies they said blackmailing people is kind of how things run. So everybody knows this. There's Puff Daddy, and he did all that stuff. Now Leonardo DiCaprio is that guy. Jeffrey Epstein is one of those guys, and it's all linked to Mossad and fake Israel and all this stuff. And really underneath it, they all just worship the devil, and they drink blood, and they want to fuck children. And this is nothing new. So the shit that people are going crazy now, what about this and what about that? It's all old to me. Like I was screaming for years, like the guy's name is I Love Children. It's not a fucking surname. What happened to him? Nothing. And he's like, there's pictures of him like doing performance art where he's like in a metal box car and there's blood spilt, and he's like wearing eyeliner, and he's like laying in blood in a bloody diaper or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, this is real. Like, this is insane. This is not performance art. Just like Marina Abramovic is just, hey, what's Marina Abramovic's performance art? She's an outright fucking witch, and her primary medium is blood and upside down pentagrams and goat heads. And this bitch, this satanic fucking witch, is the ambassador of the arts to the children in the Ukraine. Fucking insane. I flipped out when I heard that years ago. I'm like, what? And Lady Gaga and all this shit. And I just did a video about energy harvesting and demons and all this stuff. And I just started throwing in all my spirit cooking slideshow, and it was like, here's Gwen Stefani, here's Patricia Arquette, here's Will Ferrell sitting next to Gwen Stefani at a spirit cooking party, and it looks surprised, like, don't take my fucking picture. And then there's Lady Gaga. There's these people that look like they're in a trance, and their heads are through the table because they're gonna probably cut their throat and drink their fucking blood at the spirit cooking party. And they have cakes made of a whole person's body, and inside the cake is like red velvet cake.
Okay.
And it's called spirit cooking. Do you know what that is? It means blood and piss and semen and shit and girl cum, and that's what it is. This is the, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. Sorry for being crude or coarse language. It's not coarse jesting. I'm not joking. This isn't funny to me. This is fucking disgusting. And frazzle drip, remember all that shit? It's probably all true. And all this crazy shit about Bill and Hillary. And then he's like, go ahead, release the files. They want this shit to come out. So like left or right. And it's like neither. And no libertarians either. This is part of, they want to collapse everything. So like, fuck it, let it fall apart. And this is just all part of a huge dialectic, in my opinion. And they're like, yeah, go ahead, say whatever, and let it be a fucking disaster to terrify, to traumatize. This is mass MK Ultra. We're gonna traumatize everybody. You wanna know what's going on? This is what we wanna do. It's the same old ball shit that never went away since people were worshiping the balls when they walked the earth before they were killed. And they had horns on their head, and we were worshiping the ball family. B-A, 2 A's, 1 L, all shit. And it's the same. It's the same old shit. It never stopped. And then here we are today. You want to just, you want to make people live in the pod and eat the bugs. Tell them that the whole world government system is corrupt and we got to change everything. And you're gonna have to eat bugs. You're gonna have to live in a pod. And you won't own anything anymore. And we're gonna let everything just fall apart. And you guys are gonna live through a fearful hell on Earth in life. And meanwhile, they're just going to be like waiting to pick up the pieces when they're traumatized. And hey, make everybody fight each other and just keep breaking shit down. The Epstein files and all this stuff, look, that's how the world's run. People said it in their channels. Was it Shoe on Head? She did Clown World, and she's like, the world's run by satanic pedophiles, ha ha ha, or whatever. And all these, everybody says that, all right? And yeah, like none of this stuff is new. None of this stuff is news. And some people are like, we have to talk about it. You have to talk about it. Yeah, we have to do something about it. But the point is, it's being given to us, so we do something about it. They want us to fight, go all in 50 different directions, while in the meantime, in the background, they're holding the reins on this shit. If you really wanted to do something that could make a difference, I would say pray to God. The last refuge of a scoundrel, and granted I don't know you, would be to pray to God. Whatever the plan is, Lord, I pray to you now that it fail. I pray that their evil plans never see fruition, because I know you know what's really up, God. Nobody hides anything from you. You know it all, Lord. Jesus, please. I'm praying for their plans to fail, whatever they are, whatever agenda checkpoints they feel as though they are achieving. I pray that each and every single one be undone. That's why I keep telling you, I've been consistent and persistent. This is Luke 18, the tenacious widow. I've been consistent in telling you on my channel, one of the 20 of you that watch these, I've been telling you to pray to God and get creative with your prayers, because look at how creative the world is with the shit they're throwing at us. It's fucked up. Okay? And this is on purpose. Like the way that, that's really being released now. No, it's being eked out in the way that they want it to be eked out. And they're like, oh, it's going down now. Yeah, the way that they want it to. This is still a completely controlled frazzle drip, or whatever you want to believe. And Joe Rogan's like, oh man, I don't know what to do. He used to just say whatever he wanted about this shit. Now I'm watching clips of him on the guys that make their living mocking him. Good, get money off of him. He stole a lot of people's money selling them bullshit, chalk powder and all this faggot bullshit. I told you Joe Rogan's a bozo. I mean, he was like a Timothy Leary guy that didn't know how to make drugs. He just told you to take drugs and blur your boundaries between corporeal and incorporeal. He had Lady Gaga on the show, and he told her to embrace the demons. You remember that one? And she's like making fun of Joe the whole time, pretty much, because she's a fucking witch. and she threw Lena Morgana over the balcony and made a video about it and stole her swag or whatever. And yeah, like I haven't talked about this stuff with the Epstein stuff. I just like, I'm gonna do a Macaulay Culkin pizza video because I don't have to be in it. And I'm like, okay, this is the video that I'll be in. I'm pissed because this isn't new. None of this shit's new to me. People have been talking about this better than me for years, and I would make comments on it and do little snarky videos, and I'd have like, you know, Windows Photos Legacy or whatever it was. Remember that? It was like Microsoft Video Editor, and I would have like the Epstein Island house, and then I would have it go on fire, and I would say, come to Epstein Island, bring the kids, you know, like it's a vacation resort thing. And we find out, this is years ago, the longitude and latitude of Bikini Bottom for SpongeBob SquarePants is Little St. James Island. If it was in the cartoon. If you look at the longitude and latitude of where Bikini Bottom is, and people found out, they're like, wait a minute, that's fucking Epstein Island. Yeah. And then Steven Hillenburg, the creator of SpongeBob SquarePants, died. Yeah, there's so much shit. Like, I'm trying, like, there's just so many things. I remember years ago, before they started laserizing things from jets, or Satelloon laserizing things, whatever the hell they're doing. I remember seeing like jets that had like a little ball in the front of them, looked like kind of like a crystal ball with like a little turret thing coming out, and I'm like, yeah, that's a jet with a laser on it to, like, you know, laserize shit. I know it's not really Epstein Island stuff, but yeah, I mean, it was weird. His whole like breeding, everything they're talking about now. I'm gonna say I'm include myself in this. We have heard this shit years ago. This is nothing new. Oh, it's being let out to the general public, and there's like millions of pages of shit. There's years worth of stuff of talking about this as the whole damn thing unfolded. Like when Epstein got locked up and he was allowed to leave his prison cell daily, and he just had to report, he had to like go sleep in jail for the evenings, and it wasn't even jail, it was just like house arrest type of thing. Like he had a place where he had to go and check in for the evening, and in the daytime he could just go, and he was like raping children and everything, and it was all good. And the guy has a painting, and it had a painting in his New York house of Bill Clinton in a dress, and it looked like Bill Clinton had posed for that photo as like some kind of bribe or whatever. I remember for years because I have Bill Clinton's autobiography, where he talked about how him and Hillary went to Haiti in 1975 on their honeymoon, where he had the most transformative experience of his life, witnessing a voodoo ritual. You know what the national religion of Haiti is? It's voodoo. You know what voodoo is? It's where these people do rituals to summon demons, and then demons show up and they possess people. The most transformative experience of our former two-term President Bill Clinton's life, the most transformative experience, was when he got possessed at a voodoo ritual on his honeymoon in Haiti. I remember reading Hillary's college paper. I don't know why I'm doing this. I remember reading Hillary's college papers where she said that the middle class was disgusting and it must be destroyed at all costs, and how vile it was. And I was like, it's just weird. Their body count. I have a printout of the Bill and Hillary body count. And it was a lot of people back then. It was in double digits, and a lot of these people just oh no, I wronged Bill, I better shuffle myself off this mortal coil. The stuff with Bill, early days of Bill Clinton, is just horrifying. The Bill Gates stuff, I heard this shit years ago. Like everything there's Bill Gates and Island and antibiotics. This is old. Like, it's so expletive deleted. I'm trying not to use any more vulgarities. It is so old. This is old shit. talk about the pizza stuff, and it's all through Washington and all this stuff, and everything they did to cover it up and wash it away and get away with it, and all the weird stuff, the Podesta stuff, the guy that worked at Penn State, I forget his name, it'll come to me, all that shit, the private airplanes, the private airports. One of the things I remember when all this shit was happening, probably in 2016, I was talking about, look at the states, look at some states have like triple digits of private airports. I'm like, what the fuck's that all about? And you would find out that this was all linked to the that football coach that when they caught him, he just said he loves he's like, I can't help it, I love him. And he's just like, he's like, I'm fucked, forget it. And he's just saying like, no, I just can't help. He just couldn't stay away from the boys. And he was just, I can't remember the guy's name, damn it. Anyway, yeah, and he's dead. Like, obviously, he's dead. And there's a whole bunch of people that are dead now that spoke up and said things. Remember Laughing Buddha? Yeah, it's nuts. The guy, some rich British guy came out and he said that he got so high into the, like Eyes Wide Shut type of shit, that the next level was like, you gotta whack a kid with, you gotta smash a baby's head with a walnut hammer and eat the brains, and he was talking about this stuff. And where's that guy now? Years ago. And it's like, we're hearing about it now. They've got a handle on it, and they're like, now you can have this stuff in the way that they want us to have it. And it's supposed to just create cacophony or whatever, right? It's supposed to just make a mess. And meanwhile, they know what they're going to do anyway. Not saying they'll get their way. That's why I say pray. But the way that this is going down, I'm like, this isn't right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's coming out. Who? The people who know about it, that knew about it they're releasing it? Yeah. Like, when they wanted to. That's why this is happening. Oh, but it's taken out of the president's hand. No, this is all going right according to some kind of fucked up plan that I don't know. The plan is make a mess. That and talk about it and give your energy. That's why I've been doing these like videos on energy harvesting and stuff. And I'm like, that's what's happening. Like, energy. It's a new age maxim, but it's like a true thing. Energy flows where attention goes, so they're like, now you can pay attention to this. And they're doing a whole bunch of other stuff, like when they have the stuff with ICE and they're hiring old IDF retirees and stuff like that for ICE. And then Minnesota exposes the stuff about Somalian money, and like, hey, they're doing this shit all over the country with this money, like stealing taxpayers' money, and it's just going away, and they're taking it's like millions, trillions, billions of dollars, whatever. And they're like, so just do a couple, protest the ICE or whatever. It's bullshit. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. It's bullshit. Yeah, I would love to know, what it is that we could do to be organized against this kind of stuff. I'm going to say pray. Like, start a fucking prayer group. I'm not kidding. Like, pray. Pray to God about it. And if you're alone and there's nobody else, pray to God. We are told that, sometimes it's just one person's prayer can make all the difference for the whole world and affect a lot of change for a lot of lives. One person, one man, one woman's child petition to God, sincere and true, could affect great change if it moves God. God will do whatever he wants. He's a jealous God. He told us he's jealous. So if somebody says something in a way that he likes it in a prayer to him, he's like, what, I'm going to do that. I love him. Isn't that he's the best. Perfect. So I would say pray to God about this stuff. You're limited in your prayer only by the limits of your own creativity. Get creative. We're supposed to bless those who curse us. But, like, it's kind of, even I struggle with this because I'm like, these motherfuckers are trying to kill us. And they literally rape and murder children and drink their blood and eat their flesh. And they even have the guys telling you, oh, well, we use the blood, we use it, we like it. And then we take the bodies and we grind them up into meat and you eat them. Those are Hebrew National Franks or whatever. You guys eat them. And they're just telling you. They don't give a fuck. They see us as cattle. Not even, like, they're not even... They see us as so not human because they are no longer human. They are not us. Do you really, like, okay, I'm a believer in redemption arcs, but you know what I mean? Like, I've been hearing about this disgusting shit for years. This stuff, I'm sure there's plenty of new things that I didn't know that's coming out now. But I knew about this disgusting shit for years. And I'm just one of a lot of people. So now this stuff is happening and I'm like, oh, you don't like the way that it's unfolding? No, because it's like they're just, you know, puppet masters doing the same shit they did before. Okay, you want to know about it? Here, you can know about it like this now. And meanwhile, all this other shit's happening all over the place. And it's just, I don't like it. Like, it's, yes, we should talk about it, but it's easy to get caught up in it. And, you know, like, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like all this thing is a big energy harvesting thing. And it's not good. So, you know, when I'm not sure what to do, I pray to God and I ask Him about it. And, you know, granted, a lot of times I don't really sit there and listen and wait for an answer. That's a personal problem with me and my relationship with my Maker. Maybe I should spend, you know, less time talking and more time listening. But, you know, I have a lot of things to say, and there's things that I say to him that I would never say to you. And there are things I pray about, like, I like things, like the Psalter has helped me in prayer. I have a video on that. I don't know when this video is going to come out. But I have a video on using the Psalter to get creative in your own prayers, like Psalm 25, the prayer for all of life. It's a Psalm of David. A lot of them are. And it's a prayer for all of life. And sometimes where it says I or me, I'm changing it to our or we, and I'm praying on behalf of, like, the whole world. Like, I'm praying for us, you know? You watching, me, people like me, people better than me, people struggling worse than me, people struggling like me. And I'm praying it for the world because we're supposed to do this. And when you look at what they do, which is worship the devil and drink blood and offer it all up to demons and all this shit, why they do that? And it seems to be working for them. They're kind of in charge. And then you refer it to the Bible and it all makes sense. And I pray to God for help. And it's Jesus, not Allah or any of this nonsense or no filthy jinns or any of that stuff. And it's time to start giving it up to Jesus and keeping in mind that they've planned on that too. They want to lead people to Jesus in a distorted way and then let them down so that they turn away. So be ready for that too. And all this shit they're throwing at us now. And, like, you know, if you think about what's going on with the Epstein file stuff, here's the simply put, that's how the world's run. It's child human sacrifice, but it's not just children. It's all about sacrificing everybody's lives up so that they can hold on to their power. It's not about protecting us. It's about them protecting their power and their authority, which is everything's granted by demons. You gotta pray to God. You don't stand a fucking chance without it. Sorry I said fuck to you about God. He doesn't like it. You don't want to go before the throne and start dropping F-bombs to God, okay? You don't want to be doing that in your, you know, I should be doing that in His holy temple that I am, all defiled. This is what it is. Whatever this is, just me complaining. This is years of this has been going on for years. Mersh, they make fun of this guy now. When they started out with that Revenge of the Sis, they were talking about all this shit. Like, they were actually, like, interested in that stuff, and now I don't know what he's doing, like playing Does he have cats or something? And then everybody makes fun of the guy. It started out talking about all this shit and making fun of Bull and Benjamin about it. But that's what I like. This has been going on for years. Like, people have been talking about the stuff. Oh, did you hear the? This is old. Like, Joe Rogan didn't want to talk about it then. Whatever he said then, I don't know. But he didn't want to talk about it then. Doesn't want to talk about it now. These guys are ass. I do remember. I remember when Epstein stuff was happening years ago. Joe Rogan was the guy who's like, well, they're just party girls and they're like teenagers and they like they want to do that. 16-year-old girls, blah blah. And that's Joe. Start pulling those Joe Rogan episodes. Start pulling that shit out, because those are my criticisms with all the Epstein stuff when he would talk about it with his buddies and all that stuff. And it was not a good look for him. He was like, that's nothing. It's not what you think. And he was just like trying to poo-poo it and brush it away. And it won't look good now. You should, like, if you're one of those guys that's a Clippers, you need money, everybody needs money, go find old Joe Rogan's before he starts deleting all that shit. Because I remember I had like a playlist of 25 videos shitting on Joe Rogan, probably by like 2016, 17 or something. And I was like, oh wow, like I have enough videos where I made a playlist like Joe Rogan shitting on Joe. I think it was called Shitting on Joe Rogan playlist. And within that playlist of videos was my criticisms of anything that he had to say about Epstein stuff, because I was like, look at this guy, he's a douche. This is disgusting and it's real. And look, he's making a joke about it. Like, what's he think about this shit? It's not good, whatever he thinks. And now it makes so much more sense. He hangs out with the fucking Palantir guy, the reptile, and Elon Musk is a scumbag. Let's talk about Elon Musk, what I've been saying about him for years. You can substantiate at least a year or two back if you go to my Rumble channel. Elon Musk, his grandfather was kicked out of Canada for founding the Technocratic Party. That's probably why he's South African. They had to move. He creates Neuralink. He warns us about the dangers of AI, but he has Neuralink, which would give AI access to our brains through surgery of an implant into our brain. And there was like a whole other list of things that was all like facts about Elon, and I'm like, this guy sucks. And you find out years ago that he put PayPal together. There's pictures of Elon with Peter Thiel, and they made PayPal, and you're like, how about that? And they're both losing their hair, now they have hair. Hair plugs got better, whatever the technology that they used. They lie, they have the secrets. And other thing I remember is, like, Eyes Wide Shut came out, and people said, that's kind of shocking, and then Kubrick died, and people talked about that back then. But recontextualize that now. I even remember a couple years ago where people were like, think about Eyes Wide Shut, what that really is about. Kubrick made the movie about that shit years ago. And he also didn't Kubrick make Lolita? Like, he did a film, I never seen that version of Lolita. But I know David Lynch did, because David Lynch said it was his favorite film. And they said, why is Kubrick's Lolita your favorite film? And he said, because he loved the characters. You know, I'm not a fan of David Lynch. I've kind of been shitting on him. Don't let the curtains fool you. I don't like David Lynch. When he died, I did a video. I said, what about where he humiliated Naomi Watts to tears because he insisted that she really actually masturbate in the Cinema Silencio for that bullshit movie Mulholland Falls or Mulholland Drive or whatever it was? And it's her telling the story, and she's like, he humiliated me to tears because he insisted that I masturbate in front of the whole camera crew and everybody. He wanted me to do it for real, and she didn't want to do it, so she's crying. And he's like, no, just do it. And this is David Lynch, is the same guy that fired Lara Flynn Boyle from Twin Peaks. She didn't want to take her tits out and firewalk with me. And the Black Lodge and all this stuff is predicated on Francis Bacon paintings. and all the Twin Peaks imagery is just like shit stolen from Francis Bacon paintings. And he knew that like evil travels through electricity, and he was obsessed with making this thing called Red Rocket, where he wanted to have this character that travels through electricity. It was a little person, and it's a reoccurring theme that we now know from occultism. Like, occult's not hidden anymore, it's just out in the open, that somehow evil travels through electricity, and it's been one of David Lynch's staples for years. And they asked Billy Ray Cyrus in an interview, what's the best thing that ever happened to your family, and what's the worst thing that ever happened to your family? And when he got to answering what's the worst thing that happened to his family, it was a 2-word answer: David Lynch. Billy Ray Cyrus played the pool boy in David Lynch's Lost Highway, and that was his answer about the worst thing that ever happened to his family. The answer was David Lynch. Then there's the Gothard Tunnel celebration that nobody talks about anymore, which was them saying, we want you to see this. We're rich, we're the elites. We paid for the longest underground tunnel for delivering, transporting supplies to, that also, just by the way, transport supplies to the CERN Hadron Collider. And they put on an €8 million one-time only thank you performance with intense choreography. And it looks like a devil worshipping ritual, where the guy with the goat horns and he screws a scarlet woman and she gets pregnant and bloated, and then a demon comes out of her belly and it looks like one of Maurice Sendak's Where the Wild Things Are. They have a mock orgy, and there's not a lot of lyrics or words. It's just like guttural screaming and for like a fucking hour. Thanks for the tunnel. Thanks for the tunnel. How do we say thank you to these rich people for making us a tunnel? Let's give them a satanic ritual event. And we'll show how we sacrificed the people that built the tunnel, and we'll cut off the head of the Virgin Mary, and we'll have a circus, whatever. We'll have a circus, what do you call it? Circus service. It's like these, do you ever see these, they do like church circus services where they spin plates and they do like, it's crazy. It's like a mockery of God. And that's all part of Gothard Tunnel celebration. Thanks for the tunnel. Here's Satan. Here's a guy that has a taxidermy goat head on. He's going, "Wah, wah," and he's fucking people and having a fake orgy. And then the Scarlet Woman comes out and he bangs her. Like he's like literally like banging her with clothes on, like dry. And he's dry humping her. And then somebody climbs underneath her dress and gets pregnant. And then boom, it's a freaking devil demon mascot covered in hair. It looks like one of the Muppets. And what the fuck? Thanks for the tunnel. Thanks. How do we say thank you to these rich people? Yeah, they worship the fucking devil. Maybe you better pray to God. Just saying. Maybe just not for your selfish self. Maybe for the whole world. Because they want us to see this shit the way that they're giving it to us. Alright? And then they've been setting these pieces up for a while. You have all these bozos. You have Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owen, and it's all bullshit. And underneath it all, these people are butt fuckers. And why? Because it's not about being gay. It's just about being evil and doing stuff that's wrong. Oh, they destroyed Sodom. Well, we're going to go around. They bugger each other. And all this. That's what they do. They're corrupt. Oh, you see the Catholics? Yeah. Didn't you ever hear the Frank Zappa song Catholic Girls? Whatever. So Frank Zappa knew a thing about that. He said, no, I'm a weirdo. I don't take drugs because his dad worked for the government or the military or something. He's like, no, I know what that's about. So he wasn't a drug taker in his 60s. He was just a weirdo. And he made shitty music. But he knew about Catholic girls. You can fuck them in the ass. And that's what their husbands do to each other. Just saying. If you're like, whatever. It's crazy. I'm sorry. This is the video you get. I'm gonna allow it. But you should pray to God. And don't use vulgarities and F-bombs when you pray to God. And if you do, tell him you're sorry. Because I don't know if you know this, but when you're praying to God, you know, he's in heaven and he hears all the prayers and everything, but it's kind of like you're coming before the throne. Maybe you just don't want to say the kind of stuff that I'm saying to you. I'm talking to you through YouTube, through a video. When you're praying to God, you're praying to the throne. And he's going to understand that sometimes when you pray to God, you're going to be upset about things and get emotional and be honest and sincere and raw. Just say, I'm sorry I said that. I didn't mean to be so rude. But, you know, we're supposed to bless those who curse us. Love your neighbor as yourself. They're pushing us to live on top of each other, and they're clearing out real estate for themselves. And yet they have all this shit underground. And then what do we have from God? He said there won't be a place on earth where you can't go on. You can't hide from me. You can't hide from God. So don't worry about that shit. But I don't know. What do you think about this? Because obviously it's like a controlled release. Like they're like, yeah, it's okay. We know it's like chaotic. It's gonna be like chaos. We kind of want that for now. And in the meantime, harvest the energy. Now you can talk about this shit. Go make an Epstein T-shirt. He's a baller player or whatever. And haha, it's funny. And you know, I mean, they made it into a meme. Like it's a disgusting, deplorable thing. The reality of it. And they're like, he didn't kill himself. They made it into like a meme. That was years ago. He didn't kill himself. And now people are like, he's dead. He's not dead. It doesn't matter. He's fucking evil. Okay? And so is Jelaine. And her dad's evil. And she's evil. And they kill people. And their trade that they deal in is rough trade. And it's of children. And they do whatever you want, whatever the most disgusting things in the world is. That's what the people in charge are doing. And they don't care if you know it. They want you to know it. Now they want you to know it because they're ready for what they want to do. And then some people say, they're just rushing their plans or good. It's like, no, they're doing what they want to do. Like, that's my opinion. I'm glad to be wrong about it. I hope everything's failing for them because that's what I pray for. And I don't let a day go by. I start my day with it. I end my day with it. I always pray for their plans to fail. Every single expletive deleted day. I can't let my head rest a pillow unless I say, please God, I pray for the destruction of BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard. I pray for the disbanding of the Bilderberg Group. I pray that Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, Vision 2030. I pray that these plans never see fruition. I pray for the utter failure of their Plandopolis megacities. I pray for the failure of each and every single agenda checkpoint that they feel as though they have achieved. I pray that each and every single one be undone. I pray that you cut them off so that the ritual sacrifices not only don't work anymore so that lives are spared, but that in preparation for the rituals, before they can even do them, that they would be burned, as well as the unclean spirits, dead Nephilim, demons, fallen angels, forces of darkness, Lord. I pray that the ritual preparations burn the evil dark forces they're doing these rituals to appease, to get things from, as well as the people who are knowingly doing the rituals. I pray that these filthy bastards, sorry, I'm gonna be careful. You know, pray that they no longer get to set up and light their disgusting giant menorahs and light these evil candles and all this stuff. And like, hey, we're in the Ukraine, we're going around planting these giant. Here's my weird curly hair, and they're lighting candles, probably made out of human fat or whatever, and I pray that they be cut off. I pray that their evil ritual, satanic evil ritual sacrifices, burn them in preparation so that they can't even do the rituals anymore. I pray that you cut them off, Lord, so that the rituals no longer work. I pray for those who could be saved to be saved. But Lord, Jesus, Father God, Holy Spirit, I pray that they be stopped and that they be unable to lash out, strike back, or retaliate because their rituals no longer work. Cut them off in your truth, Lord. Turn them back. Send them away. incapacitate them, render them incapable of lashing out, striking back, or retaliate out of the bitterness of knowing that their rituals no longer work. Let the evildoers be exposed, shamed, humiliated, and don't let us turn away from it, Lord. And for those who can be saved and redeemed, I pray that they be saved and redeemed. You know who you want, but I pray that it be stopped. Please, Lord, stop them. Every day. Every day. Because I don't like the way that they're doing this. It's like they're doing it like, okay, you want it, we'll do it our way. Now you can know about it. I've been hearing about this evil stuff for years, and most of it's probably true. And all the stuff years ago, Soros. I remember the first time everybody saw that Soros video where he's talking about how happy he was to be, working as a teenager as a repo man, in short, and like funding, like watching him fund Antifa and all this disgusting stuff, and knowing that Bill Gates' legacy wasn't computers, it was his dad's legacy of being Freddy Krueger at your fingertips, going and doing all that evil stuff. And then they make him Time Magazine Man of the Year, and his face is so disgusting. It looks like you could see the microbes crawling around on his skin from his disgusting stuff. And all true. Stephen Hawking's and murdering girls or whatever. It's all true. And Alphonsus is not a surname. It's I love children in French. But he didn't do nothing. You're supposed to be angry about it. But I would say, like, the best thing I can think of to put in the video if I'm going to talk about something that, like, really bothers me, it's I pray to God about it. And, and mean it. And like I said, sometimes at night I'm really, really tired and I just want to go to bed, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm done praying, and then I'm like, no, I gotta throw it in there. Please, Lord, I pray that you destroy BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard, and make it so that people can have homes again, and make all their plans fail utterly, miserably. Everything that they feel as though they have achieved, I pray that you break all their plans, all the agenda checkpoints, be undone, each and every single one. And yes, sometimes when I'm praying, I'm moving with my hands. I don't know what the power of your prayer is. Some people have the faith to move mountains. So when I tell you to pray, I don't know who's watching this. Maybe you're somebody who has that kind of a powerful prayer, and it will help us. So pray. And, there's prayer groups and stuff. I don't know of any that I like that I'd want to be a part of, and I don't know that I'm called to start one. I'll leave a message on God's answering machine, and maybe you'll call me back about that one. But I'm telling you to pray through my free YouTubes. And I don't even have a Jesus t-shirt to sell you. And I make the videos that I want to make for YouTube, so, I do believe that those who try to sell spiritual truth injure themselves spiritually. I just make YouTube videos, but sometimes, I believe the things that I say, so I don't know how to sell that. And I already have enough problems. I don't need to injure myself spiritually for the little, whatever it is that I may have. It's just a want for God, a longing for God. And then weird things that have happened to me that I have talked about in some of my videos. And it's not like every day where weird shit like that happens. And but I pray every day and every night, and spaces in between. And you can too. It's the most advanced technology that's ever going to be made available to us. We have a direct line to the creator and maker of all things. Get on that horn. Pray to God. Ask him for help. for you, for your loved ones, but for the world, for strangers. If I just give examples of creativity and prayer. I was talking to somebody and they said somebody that I don't even know what they look like. I saw them like once or twice and they're getting surgery and it's pretty serious. I said, Lord, I want to pray for this person. Please, I pray that you give them a miracle. When I pray for help for people, I say, Lord, make them know that you are God, Lord, and please help them, save them, make it so they don't have to get the surgery, that they don't have to get their lung removed. Please, Lord, give a miracle. I'm praying for a miracle for this person. I only met once in passing, but I heard about him, and like you never know who you're praying for. You may be the only person praying for them. You think anybody prays for me? I got kicked out of church. They pray I don't come back. That's Eastern Orthodox Church. But like I pray for people I know nobody prays for them. Maybe you should. I pray for people I don't know. I pray for the world. Maybe you should. So there's my 2 cents on all the Epstein stuff, and that obviously the president's involved, and they all are. I mean, the guy's a figurehead. Left wing, right wing, it's the same bird. That bird's a turkey vulture, or an eagle of Zeus, or a phoenix, or I don't know, demon, a bird with bat wings and shit. That's whatever. What kind of bird has a forked tail? I don't know. So, that's what I think about all this stuff. I'm like, none of it's anything new. I've been hearing about this stuff. I've been actively seeking out to know about this stuff for years. And a lot of that kind of stuff is so disturbing that I don't put it in my videos. And now the world's being shown it. I don't know what that's doing to people. A lot of people are devouring this stuff. I'm not, avidly consuming everything that's available about it, but it's not new to me. I've been hearing about this awful stuff for years, and now I'm hearing people say stuff like, yeah, I know, I knew about that years ago, and when I would see an in to talk about it, they didn't want to hear about it. And then Epstein shows up on ABC News, and now we can talk about him. And I was trying to talk about him before then. And, like Ellen DeGeneres' set is the same colors as Epstein Island with the blue, the specific blue and the white and the gold. And her set looked like Bikini Island. Looked like Epstein Island. And then everybody said, she went away because she was mean. But that's not what I was hearing. I heard that she was going away because of this human trafficking stuff, and they thought things were going to happen back then. And I remember years ago when Bill and Hillary looked like they were going to be dead. They looked like death warmed over. It looked terrible. You're like, what's that about? He looks terrible. They don't look like that now. And I remember Dr. Drew having his, he had like 5 or 6 podcasts, and he had like 5 of the 6 of them knocked out because he said, I've seen Hillary in public and the stuff that's going on with her, and she has severe head trauma. We can't let that lady be president because there's something wrong with her, and he knew what it was. And they just immediately canceled 5 of his podcasts. He's like, well, here's my podcast. Or he had like 2 left or something. And then he had all other 4 or 5 of them or whatever, just overnight, just gone. When there was when the beginning of cancel culture was there and everything. And they just want us to fight each other and kill each other. And, they made a genre, the genre of science fiction is to say, what will our future be like? Well, what they're telling the young people their future will be like is teen dystopian sci-fi. Or, vampire romance if you want. It's your only way out. Join us and become a blood-drinking ghoul who sold your soul, and then maybe you'll become a Cullen. What do you want to be after high school, Bella? Do you want to roll around with the dogs, or you want to come upstairs? Yeah, that's going to cost you your soul, but You're gonna have shining skin, and you're gonna drink fucking blood. What's a girl to do? Now they're reading Minotaur porn. You want to be ravished by the balls. BAALS. So anyway, pray to God, because that's my 2 cents. It's like we're hearing about it because they're okay with it, and that's not good. So pray to God. Amen to that. It's too late. I'm gonna go now. Pray to God. Really. When I was in Amsterdam in September on the 6th, 2008, I was traveling and I took pictures and video. And one of the things that was weird is like, hey, look at that building over there. They got all this pile of red shoes with the black and white checkerboard on the floor. And then look, they've got a pair of red shoes in a cage. That's weird, right? And then you see that the shoes are, okay, they're spray painted red. Okay, that's kind of weird, right? And then, you know, what I noticed was people kept looking at them. You know, like stopping to look. So you got, I don't know, some kind of graffiti or something on the door. But look, there's shoes in the cage. And there it says a sign, it says LLDC. I don't know, somebody's graffiti tag. And there's some tags on the wall there. And I don't know what this building is. Rob, who is that guy? Rob de Jors. And that's all there's in the picture. I can't show anymore. So let's scroll back out. There we go. So I also have a video. Because, look. Here it is. Amsterdam, September 6, 2008. Alright, how to make it play. Hold on, I gotta get it going for you. There it is, look. The people are like, what are they doing? What's with the shoes? Yeah, I don't know what it's about. What do you think?
Okay.